Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Elevate Your Life podcast. It's time to do podcast number 186 on the blood sugar solution. 3 natural ways to balance your blood sugar, Cheryl.
Well, let me tell you, I think there's a whole heck of a lot of people that need to hear this, right? Because I hear about this problem all the time. And I think the problem, well, of course, we were lied about sugar, first of all, years ago. I mean, I don't even know how we got to the point of people having how many, 70 to 75 pounds of sugar each every year. And somebody's eating mine.
Pounds of sugar per year per person.
Yeah. And someone's eating mine because I'm not eating 75
my share
pounds
too. Yeah.
At all. But, I think the biggest problem with it is that's a problem in and of itself. But I think even a bigger problem is all of the side effects that happen when you have a blood sugar imbalance or when you have diabetes or when you're pre-diabetic or whatever it is. I mean, it's just crazy.
It really is. And, you hear people say, well, sugar's as bad for you as crack or cocaine. I'm like, it's a little bit of a stretch. But now that we're doing all the research behind it, I mean, it's the driving force behind heart disease as well. We were talking the last podcast or 2 podcasts back about healthy heart and all this damage that's happening to our arteries. Yeah. And how it's important to take care of that because it's the cuts in the arteries or the damage to the arteries from sugar that is causing the plaque, which is causing the inflammation inside of the arteries, which is causing a heart attack or a stroke. Yeah. So again, it's getting to that root cause. And more times than not, what's happening is the root cause, whether it's cancer or heart disease or diabetes now, it's all pointing back to sugar.
Yeah. Well, the craziest thing that I just heard that I was like, what? When I was like doing a bit of research for this, I was like shocked that, I don't know, there was like a top cancer doctor on and he was saying that if he ever got cancer, the first thing he would do is stop eating sugar completely, any kind of sugar at all whatsoever, because sugar is the only thing that cancer eats.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Of course, right? And so I'm just like, gracious, that's amazing. So if you aren't eating sugar, don't have sugar in your body, well, that means that I think that you getting cancer, there would be much less of a possibility because there's nothing for the cancer to eat.
Yeah.
Anyway, I could go on and on about this because I get like so crazy.
But let's, today's podcast is about, diabetes.
Yeah.
And what a huge problem that is.
Alarming.
This should be the number 1 downloaded podcast of all time with the information we're about to share here.
That's right.
Mean, people need to hear this because it's, and not only that, but all this ADHD and all these, that can't focus, can't do this, like all of it is sugar related. So it's so important to get off of sugar. And we're going to go through the three natural ways to balance your blood sugar level. As you can imagine, eating less sugar would be one of them. But let's go through the devastating facts behind blood sugar problems that are very alarming.
Yeah, they really are. And according to the World Health Organization, the number of people with diabetes has risen from 108 million in 1980 to 537 million in 2024. I mean, that's alarming in itself. Here's what's even more alarming to me, that by 2045, the number is projected to rise to 783 million adults.
Yeah, so they just take a chart and it's going up like this. And if it was continue to go up at that same rate, which I'm pretty sure it's going to go at the same rate or worse, that's how you get to 783, and it's like the whole world. I mean,
well, and listen to this. I'll tell you what else is even more alarming is an estimated 240 million adults are living with undiagnosed. They're not even counting them.
Yeah. They don't know that they have it, but they have it. They think they know something's wrong, but they just haven't called it diabetes yet because they haven't sought a doctor or got an official diagnosis yet.
Right. So 1 in 10 adults worldwide has diabetes. And diabetes, as we know, is causing millions of deaths. And in 2023, it was 6.7 million deaths that it caused.
Yeah, it's been around that 7 million mark for a while here.
Yeah.
Getting close to that, yeah.
And even the pre-diabetic, even being pre-diabetic is alarming also. More than 88 million American adults are pre-diabetic, right? So 88 million, that means they're just on the verge, right? And more than 84% of people that are pre-diabetic don't even know that they have it, right?
That's so crazy. I mean, yeah. It's so you got the 88 million people that someone is at least told that, hey, if you continue doing what you're doing, you're heading to Niagara Falls. You're heading right towards it. You're on the Niagara River. Things may be looking good, but you're about to go right over the falls.
Well, things are probably tasting good, Paul.
They're tasting really good, yeah. And then the 84% that don't even know they have it yet. It's it's just living in denial. They're just like, hey, I'm going to continue eating these donuts and ice cream and yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of times they're like, I just don't even care.
Yeah. Well, if I break, the doctor will fix me or whatever. But taking insulin shots the rest of your life, and there's still those receptors on all of our cells. So you keep on taking insulin, and then the receptors get worn out, and then you got to take more insulin, and then it all leads to so many things. People getting their legs amputated and losing their eyesight, and all the list goes on and on of things that happen because of what this leads to.
Yeah, and Dr. Wallach, I'll never forget this, Paul. We were talking about this before, and Dr. Wallach said that this is one of the easiest things to fix. So I could hardly wait until we get
2 weeks.
That part, 2 little minerals, and really just talk and be able to share that information. I always like to bring hope. I always like to be like, here we come with some hope.
Really, out of all the problems that we fix, this is absolutely the easiest one.
I think it is too. And I was just thinking I remember when I was 12 years old, my grandma died from diabetes.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, are you kidding me that there's nothing we can do at all?
Yeah.
Right. And so, and then later on, I find out that there was something very simple that we could have used.
Yeah.
So, and really, we were just talking a little bit earlier about all of the side effects, all the complications that happen with this. And I think this is the part, to me, I think, that would really make me either change the way I'm eating or whatever it is.
Yeah. Even I wasn't, from doing all the research on this, I didn't understand the degree that the sugar affects every other disease in your body.
Oh yeah.
It is, it's the underlying cause.
Yeah, you bet it is. And let's start with cardiovascular disease. I know that you mentioned that. So high blood sugar damages blood vessels and nerves that control the heart, increasing the risk of heart attack, stroke, and how do you say this? Atherosclerosis.
Yeah, atherosclerosis. Yep. It's hardening of the arteries.
Yeah. So that is crazy. That's one of the things that it does. Kidney damage or
neuropathy. Neuropathy. Yep.
Nephropathy. I know it's not neuropathy because I hear that all the time, but this is nephropathy. Nephropathy. Oh, geez.
Oh, the kidney.
So this is kidneys. Right? Okay, this is damaging your kidneys, filtering.
Another doctor made up word. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kidney damage coming from diabetes. Next, we have eye problems. You talked about that.
So let me just stop for a second, Joe, because we had this the other night in one of our health coaching course, our question and answer series.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't eat protein because my kidneys are damaged. Well, what do you think caused the kidney damage in the first place? It's because all the sugar you're eating is causing the kidney damage. So if you got off the sugar, the kidneys would be fine. Then, but don't eat protein because protein's bad for your kidneys. You can't.
Why would someone say that?
Because they're just, it's a rumor that goes on out there that, if you got kidney problems, don't have any protein.
Wow. But then that really causes even way more.
So then you eat more sugar, carbohydrates.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just
damage them more. It's the carbs. It's the sugar doing the damage to the kidneys, not the protein.
Wow, that's crazy. Eye problems. My grandma had a lot of eye problems.
Yeah,
The
all
blood
from
sugar.
sugar.
Yeah, because it damages the blood vessels in the retina. Good night. Nerve damage. I hear about this a lot from people who are pre-diabetic or who have diabetes. So this is the neuropathy, like
Yeah,
you get the tingling or the numbness and the pain, particularly in your legs and arms.
extremely. Yeah.
And then, of course, skin condition, poor circulation. That's gonna happen every time, right? Slow healing wounds and increased risk of infections. All of those things. You hear about people having to get their, like you said, even their toes cut off or their feet cut off or whatever. And that is from the poor circulation.
Yep.
Yeah. Cognitive decline. Increase the blood sugar problems, increase the risk of dementia and cognitive impairment. Absolutely. Dental problems, I think we hear a lot about, right? If you
Not really, Cheryl.
Well, not you. Yeah. You don't have any of this.
Yeah, no cavities.
Yeah, no cavities. That's just absolutely amazing. And then one of the other big ones that we hear a lot about is the sleep disorders. I mean, we talk to people all the time that have sleep disorders and sleep problems. And that can just be the blood sugar fluctuations. They contribute to the sleep apnea and any other sleep related problems. Wow. So the importance of keeping your blood sugar at a proper to maintaining it at a proper place for you, each person. I think it is so, so important. And I'm excited to talk about the 3 ways that we can do that. Here comes the hope. Here comes the hope.
It is. And we're going to talk about dietary changes, number 1. So we got the 3 steps here to fixing this problem naturally. And of course, we're going to talk about stop eating carbs. That's the obvious thing. It's carbs that are killing you. Now, every single carbohydrate turns to sugar.
Right.
So like, oh, well, I just, I love my one woman I was dealing with, she's like, well, I just give my children apple juice. It's all natural. Like, listen, man, apple juice is worse than Coke. But you just sent me that picture of all the different soft drinks, how many they have bags next to each one and how much of the white sugar is in each one. It's crazy. But apple juice, doesn't matter what it is, it contains the same sugar. Like, well, it's fruit sugar. It's good. Like, no.
Your body doesn't know the difference. Your body doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
It absolutely does not know the difference between fructose or fruit sugar and regular sugar.
Yeah. People, I don't know who started that rumor that, well, it's fruit sugar, so it's good for you.
Well, I do think that if you eat a whole apple, then a lot of that fiber will slow down.
The peel slows the thing down. Yeah, somewhat.
That's right.
The fiber, but that's minute, and then there is not, but just drinking straight apple juice is,
no.
You can drink a Coke or an apple juice. Doesn't make a difference.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you monitor that, track and manage the portions of carbs that you're eating, and make sure that you keep your carb count down below 30 grams a day. I know, Paul, you do below 20. And it's good. I mean, the lower you can get it, the better, you guys.
I mean, if you're eating 400 now a day, going under 100 would be huge.
Oh, yeah.
It all depends on where you're at now.
And please look. Please look and see. Like, everyone tells me, no, I eat like really super well. I'm like, great. Tell me I eat some oats in the morning for breakfast. You guys, there are a ton of carbs in oats.
Yeah. Worst way to start your day.
There is a ton of carbs in all of these different things. And I know that there's a way, carb balance. There's different ways that you can, that they've got the carbs relatively low on a lot of different things. I know they have a lot of different keto things out there, which are super important. And you've got to change over to that, right? You've got to stop eating the carbs because it's literally.
But the big thing we've done, Cheryl, is switch to focusing on protein. Every meal we eat is protein first, so we're always focusing on eggs first. Now, eggs with whatever you want to have with it, the eggs have protein and fat, which slows the carbohydrate absorption rate down,
right,
at least in half, if not more. Or when you add steak or chicken or seafood or any kind of protein shake, like all these things are phenomenal. Even if you added things to your protein shake, just the sheer fact that you got the protein in there helps balance your blood sugar levels out tremendously. It is absolutely the key to balance blood sugar levels.
Right. I totally agree. I think that's made a huge difference in my life. Just, making sure that I get more protein. Okay. Physical activity. You guys, I know you've all heard this. It's time for
science, Cheryl.
Yeah, it's time for some physical activity. But the thing that I'm really excited about is it's 30 minutes of walking a day.
Yeah.
That's what's recommended. 30 minutes of walking. You don't need to go out there and be Jane Fonda and, and work out for 10 hours. You don't have to do that. And because what they found, which I think this is crazy, is the harder you exercise, the more cortisol it makes in your body. And then good luck trying to lose weight with cortisol in your body, because you're not going to be able to.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
So, yeah. So walking, and then of course, strength training. I love strength training. So I think this is really super good. But if you can do it 2 to 3 times per week, it'll improve your insulin sensitivity, which is what we need. Because if we've got that, then your body needs to produce less and it's more helpful, and your blood sugar stays at a good level. And then daily movement. Get up and move. And I never forget this, Paul, because I think I was so shocked when I saw it, but it said sitting is the new smoking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, right? Get up.
Let me go back to the strength training real quick though. So your body can store about 2,000 calories worth of this stuff called glycogen. So glycogen is stored in your muscle cells, and it can be used for when you need instantaneous energy, like right now for like a sprint or something you're going to do that's vigorous. So when you weight train, you're using glycogen. So you're tapping into that glycogen reserve at 2,000 calories. You're burning that up. So when you go to eat carbohydrates, your body's like, oh, we got to fill up our glycogen tanks. So it goes, and of course, now the more muscle you have, the bigger your storage tank is to go store more glycogen, because you have more muscle mass, and all that muscle needs glycogen. Plus now the carbohydrate you're eating is going towards that. It's not going into your fat cells. So just to be clear for everyone that isn't clear on this yet, fat doesn't turn into fat. They think, well, I'm not going to eat any fat in my diet because that turns into fat. That's not how this works at all. Okay, hopefully we got past that by now.
Right.
As a matter of fact, people who eat a lot of fat are the thinnest people out there.
Yeah.
It's the carbohydrates that are turning into fat, going into your fat cells.
Well, they turn into sugar, right?
They're into sugar, and then the insulin comes in, and it's got to take it someplace. So it goes to check your muscle cells. Hey, did this person just do this morning I did legs. Okay, my legs are fried. So it's all those if I have any carbohydrates today, my body's the insulin's going to come into my system, check my glycogen reserves, realize that they're depleted because I did that 45 minutes of leg training, and fill them back up. But if I didn't do that today, it would say, no, Paul's glycogen reserves are maxed out, totally full. So let's take these carbs, because we got to get them out of the blood system. We just can't have these extra sugar floating around. So then it just puts them right into the fat cells. There's no place to put it.
Wow.
So that's how sugar makes you fat. All the sugar you're eating is what's in most people haven't tapped into their glycogen reserves in years. So,
yeah. And we want to be clear, you guys, that when we say sugar, we mean carbs too. Okay. So everyone says, well, I didn't drink a Coke, so I'm good.
Yeah. I just had a loaf of bread. That's carbs. Okay? That's turning sugar.
So just be aware of that. So yeah, physical activity is super important. Thanks for explaining that, Paul. That's really so cool. Let's talk now about the third thing, which is taking supplements. And I love this, because this to me is what really brings hope. So there's 2 little minerals that you can get that will help you regulate your blood sugar like nobody's business. Like it's unbelievable, right? So the first one is chromium. Okay. It's an essential trace mineral, and it enhances insulin's action in your body. Okay. So it helps it helped. Paul, you can explain this way better than I can because I'm like really, I'm like, yep, helps with your insulin.
Yeah, no, I have to keep things, so people can understand them. But
Yeah.
every cell in your body has got receptors on it, and there's the cells has just got an outer protection around it, and it's kind of like got a gatekeeper, a guy at the door that's saying, "Hey, I'm not letting you in." But this chromium and vanadium help the insulin and the carbohydrate come into the cell easier. So part of the problem and why we're releasing so much insulin, why everyone's becoming pre-diabetic or diabetic, is because the sugar has to come out of the blood system. So it's trying to get it into the cells, and it can't because it's missing these two minerals. These two minerals, God set this whole thing up the way it works, and you have to have these two minerals in order for the insulin and the carbohydrates to enter the cell. If those aren't there, it doesn't work. So your body just goes and the pancreas makes more insulin. And let's try again. Let's try to jam this stuff in. That didn't work. So we got to produce more insulin. And then sooner or later, your pancreas becomes worn out. The receptors on your cells become worn out. And you're now what's called a diabetic. So to prevent all this from happening or make the system work the way it's supposed to work, you need these two minerals. And a lot of it, because this can help you, the whole process, work correctly. So again, we're getting to that root cause. Why is our bodies producing all this insulin? Because you're forcing it to, not only from the amount of carbohydrates you're eating, but because the two key minerals that help the cells absorb this carbohydrate they're not there. They're just deficient in these two minerals. So you got to have them.
Yeah, and those are part of the 60, right? Because we always talk about the 60 minerals.
60 essential minerals. 2 of them are chromium and vanadium, but those are the 2 that, the other 58 have other roles, but these 2 are for the blood sugar.
Yep, that's so awesome. So that would be chromium, and vanadium is the other one. Also, something very awesome to take is cinnamon bark.
Yes.
Right. So cinnamon bark has long been recognized for its blood sugar regulating properties. Okay. And what this does is it's a powerful spice, and it contains compounds that can mimic insulin's effects in the body. So it helps cells better respond to insulin and facilitate the glucose uptake. Wow.
Yep. So that's just helping things along. It's a great natural ingredient to add the things that, it plays a huge role in helping your body deal with this extra carbohydrate.
Wow. This is so awesome. And then L-aspartic acid.
Here's an amino acid. We've been talking about amino acids on every single podcast now, because there's all these essential amino acids. So there's 60 minerals you got to have, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids. So the reason why these are essential, this one essential amino acid helps support the pancreas in producing insulin and helps maintain proper stable blood sugar levels. So if you're missing this essential amino acid, guess what? Your blood sugar level is going to be all over the place. So that's why we say you add more protein, you're going to get all 12 of the essential amino acids. But this particular amino acid is the key amino acid for blood sugar regulation.
Yeah, I love this amino acid. Another thing that I really love about it too is it assists in the transportation of minerals. So the other minerals that you're taking across the intestinal lining, and enhancing nutrient absorption, which is something that we always talk about, and the importance of being able to absorb the things that you're taking.
Yeah, because again, we want to say this, we do say this on every podcast, we do not believe in fractionated nutrition. So just because we come on here and we say you need chromium vanadium, everyone's on, their phone right now going to Amazon.com and ordering chromium vanadium. Like, it doesn't work that way. All of these things work together, so you need this amino acid to have all the minerals work, and you need this for that to work and that to work. So it all works together. That's why you need all 90 in one place. If you don't have all 90, they won't work right, because the things that support this are missing and things that support that are missing. And it's just one big web. You need all of them in order for this to work right.
Yeah, and that's why we say that it's the foundation of health, right? It's the very start. It's what you're going to build everything on. So you always start with the 90 essential nutrients. And the cool thing is the chromium and vanadium are in the 90, right? So at least you've got that to start with.
Yeah.
Something else that's really fantastic for blood sugar control is inulin. And
Yeah.
this is the soluble fiber, I guess, and it plays a crucial role in blood sugar management. Tell us a little bit about that, Paul.
Well, yeah. So, there's this thing called the glycemic index, which rates how fast a carbohydrate enters the bloodstream,
okay.
And how quickly your blood sugar levels go up. But as we mentioned earlier, what if you had that same carbohydrate mixed with a protein or mixed with a fat? Now we see that same carbohydrate that had this glycemic index of, 93 drop all the way down to 20 because when you add something else with it. So inulin is one of these things. It's a fiber, and it plays a critical role in blood sugar management through multiple mechanisms in that it slows down the digestion process and absorption of carbohydrates. So it isn't just this rush into your bloodstream of all the sugar at once. It just keeps everything slowly going into the blood sugar system and not having, it's preventing this rapid spike. That's what we're trying to avoid is, we're seeing this big spikes, the insulin rushes in, and then this big crash, and then we all want to fall asleep. So we want more even, blood sugar levels than this big up and down. Most people are up and down like a yo-yo all day long. They have their whatever, and then 10 a.m. they're as high as a kite, and they fall, and you go to lunch, have some more food, and then they crash again after lunch.
So that's like the 3 o'clock crash where everyone's like, I need to have a Snickers and I need to have a
because
Coke.
Your blood sugar level's low. That's it.
Yeah.
So this is one nutrient that can. It also is great for building great gut bacteria. So the beneficial gut bacteria, which is super important because now we're also everything's tied together as we know it. So our gut bacteria plays a role also in this whole sugar thing, and nothing can ruin gut bacteria more than sugar can. Sugar is the key ingredient to building bad bacteria in your body. I mean, it is just it's bad, Cheryl.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But Paul, really, what it all comes down to is that all of these nutrients work together. And you just kind of explained that a little bit earlier about how, all the 90 work together and all the nutrients that we just talked about really work together with a really comprehensive approach to blood sugar management.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all of those things along with the exercise and the exercise and a balanced diet. But in taking these things, so many great things happen. So we talked a little bit about supports the insulin function. It enhances glucose metabolism. You explained that to us, which I'm so grateful for. And then help maintain stable blood sugar levels throughout the day, like you said. So we're not up and down and high as a kite and then crashing, high as a kite and then crashing. Because that's not, I mean, that's just like, to me, not a great way to live. And you don't feel healthy, right? You feel like you always have to take something to get this, to do that, to keep this going so you don't fall asleep at your desk or whatever it is you're doing,
the
right?
daily grind. It's a battle, you're just making life harder. Like I always think to myself, whatever I eat right now, that's going to affect how I feel for the next 4 hours. So do you want to feel horrible for the next 4 hours, or do you want to feel fantastic? Now, when I have like a chicken salad, let's just say I go to lunch, I have a chicken Caesar salad.
Yep.
I am like Superman for the next 4 hours. I could literally run through a brick wall. I feel that good from just because it's got the chicken, the protein, some fat in there, the lettuce, like all of it's just great.
Yeah.
As much as I love pasta or, bread or anything like that, I eat that and I got to go take a nap. Literally, I have to go take a nap. And I know, Cheryl, you love napping, but it's not always good to have to take a nap every couple hours. It's just.
Well, I think it's great, Paul. Take a nap every couple hours. But no, I completely agree. And I'm just so grateful that there's so many different things that you can do about that today, right? And still get, and you can still, eat some of these great things, right? I mean, they've got low carb pasta. They've got gluten-free low carb.
Yeah.
They've got all sorts of things.
They're fantastic. Yeah.
Right.
There's two supplements we're recommending, Cheryl, especially for for all so we talked about the diet part, and we recommend getting on a protein shake. So either click on the link below, get with your certified holistic health coach. They'll help you pick out a good protein powder. I really recommend having at least 1 or 2 shakes a day to get more protein into your diet. We try to shoot for whatever your goal weight is. So if your goal weight's 150 or whatever it is, that's how many grams of protein you want to have a day. And you want to divide that up evenly over like 4 meals. So I go every 4 hours, I go 40, 50 grams of protein. So if I get 50 grams of protein 4 times a day, I'm at 200, so that's how I get to my 200 every day. So if you're a woman, I would try to do 30 or 40, like Cheryl does every 3-4 hours. And that's step 1. Step 2 is get the exercise in. And yes, 30 minutes is great in the morning, especially you start the day off and you just set the whole thing up for the rest of the day. You just set up for success. We do that first thing in the morning. And then like us, we're standing right now while we're doing this. We have standing desks. We move around all the time. Like you do not want to be stationary. You want to keep moving. That's the key. And adding these supplements. So we have in the shopping cart, in the IWA shopping cart, we have Sweeties, a product called Sweeties. So there's 2 products. There's Sweeties and there's glucogenics. And we get, there's probably no other 2 products we get more questions about, like which one should I get? So Sweeties is like half the price of the glucogenics. And for most people, it works fantastic. It's got the cinnamon bark in it that we mentioned, the aspartic acid, the vanadium, the chromium. So it's got, and a couple other things it's got in it. I mean, we probably have had more success stories come from, I would say the collagen and this are right 1 and 2 with the amount of stories we get back to us. Like my whole life has changed, from the knee pain that they had is gone now, or their blood sugar problems are fixed from taking Sweeties. Now it's not a get out of jail free card. Like you can't just eat a plate of whatever, pasta or fruit, or drink a sugar drink and take a Sweeties and think, oh, well, I'll be fine. It doesn't quite work that way. It's going to help, but you got to eat less carbs. That's step number 1. Now, because the blood sugar problem in this country, really around the world, has gotten so bad, we actually the company we work with had to make it a more advanced product to help people, because the problem got so bad. And Sweeties is good, but not in severe cases. Like if you already have diabetes, or if you're in that pre-diabetic, which we know, so many 80 million people are in, you need something more advanced, so it's going to have the inulin really is the big ingredient that the glucogenics has that the Sweeties doesn't. That's why it makes it's twice as good for sure, but it's twice as expensive. So just kind of you deciding which one you want and how bad your situation is. But glucogenics is unbelievable. It's got the chromium, vanadium, everything we mentioned in this podcast. It's got it all in it with the inulin, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So that can fix just about anything. So just decide which one you want. If this is a problem of yours, doing these 3 things, we promise you will fix the problem. No question about it. And like Cheryl said in the beginning, fast. That's the real cool thing about this, is it's not like, oh, it's going to take months and months and months to fix this. Like we literally see people fixed in 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 to 4 weeks. And we're talking a month from now and you're like a rock star. That's how fast, thank God the human body can heal. It isn't because of anything. We're giving the body what it needs. It can do amazing things. So it's the body healing itself, but you just can't keep abusing it by pounding it with carbohydrates. You're pounding with 400 grams of carbohydrates a day. Your body has no chance to recover from that. And you're just driving yourself deeper, deeper, deeper into a hole every day by doing that.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Paul. And I love that. And I love, again, that there's hope, right? So those 3 things, doing that, it will make it, you will feel like a completely new person in a very short period of time. So that was awesome. Well, it's been so much fun spending time with you guys here today. Stay committed and stay consistent. Remember that you have the power to elevate your life and the lives of those around you. We can't wait to see you next time. Keep elevating.